My name is Monica Gleberman, and you're listening to Silence on Set podcast. On today's episode, we're talking to Kheris Rogers, who's a 16-year-old CEO of her own apparel brand, Flexin In My Complexion. A native of Los Angeles, she launched a line after being bullied at the age of 10 for her beautiful dark melatonin skin. Kheris is also promoting her new children's book, Shine Bright, published by HarperCollins, and is currently available wherever books are sold. So here to give us an update on her book, her clothing line, and everything she has coming up, here's Kheris Rogers. Okay, so like I said before you came on, I'm so excited to have you on to talk about, you're pretty incredible. The amount of stuff that you've accomplished is like unbelievable and like hard to process in my brain. So it's so nice to meet you and kind of like just discuss certain things with you and how you came up with things that you did and where you are in your career for someone that's so young. I started really young. I started at 12. So like I kind of have a little feeling of like kind of what you're going through. But I wanted to start off just simply with what got you interested in kind of using your voice. I think is probably one of the biggest things that you kind of started off with early on. So what made you feel like you needed to be so vocal and want to use that voice and have people hear it, and why?
For one, I feel like when it came to me using my voice, I feel like it was kind of like an accidental thing. It was never like a plan for me to speak up about bullying or colorism or racism or anything, but it's really just happened on accident. And when it happened, it was something that I really thought like this is an important topics that I feel like a lot of young boys, girls, adults, or anyone, just letting them know to love yourselves and to be who you are and to speak up about these situations that you're going through because you're not alone whatsoever. And I feel like once I started to realize at such a young age what colorism and racism was, I thought that it was something that a lot of people should be educated on.
Yeah. And it's hard because when you're young, I think sometimes people might not take you seriously, or they might, hear your voice and go, oh, well, she's young. Like when she gets older, she'll understand, or they're too young. We shouldn't talk about this. They're too young. You broke those barriers because you were like, no, we're not too young. We should be talking about this. And not only should we be talking about this, but older people need to learn from me because we're not heading in the right direction here. So what made you so confident to be able to, like, I know you said like it kind of happened by accident, but you powered through it and really kind of stuck to your guns about it. So what made you kind of push through those barriers? Because those are hard things, like when you're young, for people to just dismiss you.
Right. I feel like, for one, hearing everyone on social media, reading the comments a lot, I feel like that's also what pushed me. Seeing other people that look like me telling me that I inspired them, I feel like that's what gave me a lot of confidence and to speak up about these situations. Because growing up being bullied, I thought that I was the only one going through something like this. And then realizing that I wasn't, it was just like a wow moment. Like, okay, I see there's millions and millions and millions of other people going through the same thing that I went through. It's time for me to speak up and tell my story because there's someone who knows where going through the exact same thing. So I feel like social media gave me a boost in it a little bit. And I feel like also with coming out with my book, Shine Bright, showing a younger kid that's like in kindergarten, elementary school, showing them, because it starts young, and I feel like a lot of young kids need to be taught about these huge situations that people try to make it a little thing in school. So
Yeah, it's hard. When I was younger, I feel like everybody has a story, which is what's sad. And I don't know why we haven't made movements towards getting away from this. I know we're making efforts and there's great organizations and there's things and education coming out, but I feel like everyone has a story, right? So like when I was young, thank God it was prior to social media. I'm a little older than you. So it was prior to social media. So like, luckily I didn't have to deal with that, but in a way it's equally as bad, right? Because you walk in and like, someone says something, and it was like the old school type of I was in high school and they put up like flyers. It was that kind of fun where I walked in and it was all bad stuff like, about me, from like the 10 girls that are like the popular group, right? And meanwhile, you have a million other friends that love and support you. But for some reason, those 10 people, you care what they think, and you walk in and you see this. So I experienced it at a very young age. And I was like you, which was like, okay, you want to say something? Well, I'm going to respond. And this is going to be my answer. So like, we're very similar in that. And I have a lot of respect for you because I don't know what it's like growing up with social media. I feel like it puts another level on top of it. Do you think social media has encouraged a negative conversation, or do you think it's helped encourage positive education? Or is it?
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like with social media, I feel like we're all trying to fit in a standard that we all are, that really doesn't exist for real. But we're trying to make it exist because it's social media. We want to fit that standard so bad. I feel like social media creates a lot of good conversations and bad conversations. I feel like social media has its pros and cons in a way, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that, especially Gen Z, I feel like we've over quarantine, I feel like we've come out about a lot of things that a lot of older people wouldn't have said, or like they'll just say it at home, like, it's not much of a big deal or anything. But as Gen Z, we a little hard because we go through a lot of, there's other types of bullying over social media, over in school, over families or anything, So I feel like social media creates a lot of good and bad conversations in a way, some that don't really need to be, the whole cancel culture and stuff like that. I feel like social media has pros and cons. I mean, it's a good thing that, we're able to speak out on big platforms as social media, working with big brands and speaking up about certain topics that, we've all been through. But, some things are dragged a little bit.
Yeah, some things we could just be like, those are the things like bigger, scroll by. You're like,
exactly. There's other issues that are bigger than that. Why are y'all talking about that?
Yeah, like we're like, we have bigger problems going on. Like I'm just gonna scroll past that. I'm not even gonna answer that. But yeah, like I do think it's pretty interesting, and I want to talk about your book because I have it with me. It's gonna be hard to I have it with me, and let me tell you, this book is so beautiful because there were so many things in here, and I want to pull out a couple things. So I'm sure, and you're like, I wrote it. I know what went on in it. But first of all, I love it right away because right away she addresses. So for anyone, I'm kind of jumping the gun here. So for anyone that's interested, you wrote a book called Shine Bright. And how long ago did you write this?
Like 2 years ago, I believe.
Okay, so like 2 years ago. And this book has beautiful illustrations, which were done by I think that they were, oh, sorry?
Michael Rowe.
Like, okay, perfect. So
she's like, I'm not gonna pronounce it. She got it.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'll just throw it to her. So, but there's these beautiful illustrations, and it's about this girl, Amani, and how she like always likes to shine bright, right? And all kids, we just like to shine bright, have fun, live our life. And she comes across this, this group of kids that are making comments she doesn't understand. She's like confused, like why are they making these comments? I don't get it. And she does something that I think is really noble and important, which is that she goes to her mom. And a lot of times people don't have that conversation with their parent. A lot of times you hold it in and you're like scared and you don't want to bring it up. So I love when there's a part in the book where you wrote, she's just so dark, they said. Amani started to feel sad and suddenly her sparkle went away. And then she has a conversation with her sister first. And she said, she's thinking they're scared of the dark. So she's like, I don't understand. And, and then they're trying to like go back and forth about it. And then she explains, and this is one of my favorite parts of it. Crystal took Amani's hand and explained, they aren't afraid of you. They're afraid of what they don't know. Your dark skin makes you shine. And so do all the other wonderful things about you. And then she says, really? And that, and obviously, it goes on to tell this beautiful story about her finding that she can shine no matter what, and that her color and the differences about her enhance her versus hinder her. So what made you decide to write this and put this message out there? Because like I said, it's so beautifully done. And, I don't want to read the whole book, book for everyone and give it away. Everybody should go buy it. So look up Shine Bright and please go purchase this because it's such a great book. But it has such a great message for anyone of any race, anyone that's different, anyone that feels awkward, uncomfortable, that has had someone say something about them. And before I get to kind of your author note, I want to know why it was important making this and how this came about.
For one, I feel like telling my story in a different way for kids to understand. Because growing up, I wish that I had a book where I could look up to and I could see a girl that looks like me that's going through bullying, racism, colorism, and trying to find her shine. I didn't have a book like that, or I don't recall reading one like that at a young age. And I thought, why don't I create something where kids are going to understand? For one, it was kind of hard for me to put a strong story like that in a kid's perspective and getting a way for them to understand a little bit. But I feel like for me, it was just it's a super strong story that I feel like a lot of kids need to hear today. Because, it starts young. It starts at home, really, where parents are teaching their kids bad habits on how to treat other kids or anything. And I just thought, telling my story on what I went through and just showing a kid, look, this is what you're going to go through in the real world. I'm just going to let you know young. I'm going to be real upfront with you. This is what the real world is like. It's not all peaches and cream and rainbows every day. This is what we actually go through when just trying to find your shine and hold your head up high no matter what.
Yeah, it's such a good balance because it's not a book where you'd be like, I don't know if I should read it. It's like, it's such a great balance of addressing an issue, but addressing it in a way, like you said, of a child's perspective, where it's not something that's like thrusted in your face. It's not preaching. It's just kind of telling someone's experience and saying you're not alone. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a fantastic book. This is something I would read to, any child, no matter what race, age, gender, anything, because I think it's an important story to tell. But then when I flip it and I get to your author note, I went, oh my gosh, she next leveled her own book, because then a lot of people don't even do that. A lot of people don't even make it personal. A lot of people will write the book and just go, this is a story. This was an idea I had. I put it out there. You put it out there, but then you literally spend 2 pages talking about how this happened to you, your name, who you are. And my favorite is at the very end. And I literally think like one day, like you're going to have like these little quote boxes, like, like those super famous people and people like steal their quotes. It's going to be you, because my favorite is in your author's note at the end. You said, to anyone reading this, do not let someone else's limited views stop you from achieving your wildest dreams. Always remember to shine bright, because you are smart, you are magic, you are beautiful, you are hope, you are brave, and you are enough. Period. So I felt like period, mic drop. So why was it important for you to add an author's note? And what did you mean by that? Those final, I know it sounds like it's almost like self-explanatory, but to remember those few things that you mentioned, why is it important to remember that you're smart, magic, beautiful, all of these things that you wrote at the end?
Because for one, I feel like one word can bring you down. And when you wake up in the morning, you need affirmations to say to yourself, to remind yourself who you are. And just letting yourself know that you are smart, you are beautiful, you are anything in the entire world. You are that, okay? And so I just felt it was very important, because I know one word can bring someone down so quickly. And I just know when I wake up and I'm not feeling my best, or I'm not feeling beautiful today, or I don't like how I look, I have to remind myself who I am. And I just know a lot of kids need to know that. And, it's not taught in school it should be, but it's not. And I just thought, okay, this is gonna be in my author note. They might not read that paragraph, but they're gonna see, they know those 4 words at the bottom. You are smart, you are beautiful, you are anything, and I know that they can read that part. At least they get that. I know I did something.
No, and you did. And literally, like I said, not only does your author note kind of introduce you, and at the time that you wrote it, you said, I'm 16 years old, but then you go on to list, just a few things. So that, besides being like bullied and creating this book that's out in the world for people to purchase, then there's like, well, I'm the youngest designer at Fashion Week. Now you have clothes that celebrities are wearing. You have like modeled for Nike there. So just a couple of things have happened in the process of your life. So how did it go from I have a voice kind of accidentally, I kept talking about it, I write this book, and then how do you jump into now I'm doing fashion, and how did that blow up? Because there's a lot of people that do fashion and it just, they make t-shirts, they try to next level, and it's hard. It's a hard industry to do it. How do you think you were able to accomplish it and then next level it with Whoopi Goldberg wearing your clothes and everybody wanting your shirts and all of your kind of outfits and everything that you create?
For one, I've always had a passion for fashion, especially growing up. I thought it was a way to express myself, and showing people my mood for the day or something like that. It was just a way for me to show people who I am, I guess. And when I initially started going viral on Twitter, my sister posted the hashtag Flexin In My Complexion. And so when that went, I was like, oh yeah, we about to get this running, we about to get this turned, period. And so a few days later, I started the clothing line. It literally just sold out in minutes. And then after that, I was just like, why not keep going? Get something that I love, something that I enjoy. And it's showing other young teens and kids as well that whatever you want to do, put your mind to it and just go for it, because no one can stop you but yourself. You just have to keep going no matter how hard it is, no matter, it's not going to happen overnight for everyone. It doesn't happen overnight. So you just have to keep going, keep running towards it.
Well, I want to ask you more about that, but to wrap up for Shine Bright, I loved this book. I think you're like a 40-year-old and like a little young, beautiful person to come up with these ideas. And I love that you're the CEO that's listed on the front. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she is a boss at her age. Like, I just love everything about you. Where can people buy this book? Because I secretly just wanted it, and now I'm like, oh shoot, I should have asked her to sign it, because I'm like so excited. I love it so much. But where can people go purchase it?
My book is sold wherever books are sold, either that's in Target, Barnes and Noble, anywhere online. Just search for the book, it's gonna pop up.
Just search for it and it will come up. So like everywhere, anywhere you can buy a book, you'll find it. So it's Shine Bright by Kheris Rogers, and you can look it up. This is the book. And it's just beautiful. And there's a gorgeous photo of you on the back. And I just think it's so well done. And I haven't seen a book like this in a really long time, if ever. So I want to congratulate you on this book. But let's talk about your clothes. So you write this book that comes out. So you're like, all right, I'm hot right now. People are talking about me. I'm going to take advantage of this, which is such a businesswoman thing to do. So I admire you about that. I kind of tried to do the same thing. So when you decided creating, what was your goal in terms of the clothing line, or your first kind of set of clothing line, kind of drawings and images? Like what was your goal of getting stuff out?
For one, the t-shirts really, really simple. It just said Flexin In My Complexion, big and bold. I don't remember how many colors we first dropped. I'm not sure, but I know black and white was one, because that was like our most popular when we first started out. And then after that, we just started expanding more and more, getting more popular, more inventory, more everything. And then, we're getting overwhelmed. We're like, hold on, we got to get together. But I feel like along the way, we're still learning, because I still work with my family. This is still like a family business.
I love that.
Yeah, and so recently we moved into a warehouse. So I feel like we're slowly getting our stuff together. I'm so excited for 2023. I feel like it's a new year for us to expand a little more and figure out what we really want to take the company and what we really want to do. So yeah.
So I saw, so like I said earlier, like Whoopi Goldberg and some other celebrities wearing the shirt. It was the traditional one. It was the black one with the white writing on it. So how did that happen? Was it just that they heard about you and bought it? Was there like, did you send out packages and like they just went out and wore it? Like how did that work for like someone that's trying to kind of emulate a little bit of like your business ethic?
I don't even know myself. We
I
kind of
just
just
found out.
exactly. We kind of just saw it on the internet. It was like,
Oh
whoa,
my
like,
God.
what's happening? Literally all these different celebrities. I was just like, what is going on? Like my life is changing overnight. And so it literally just happened. I've never spoke to Whoopi before. I would love to. I would love to meet her. And a lot of different celebrities, Lupita, Lena Waithe, Alicia Keys, so many more. It's just to name a few, it's just amazing, especially doing this at a young age and getting my story out there. I feel like I'm inspiring a lot of people, and little do they know, all these people are inspiring me to keep going every day.
And have you spoken to any of the celebrities that have worn your stuff?
Yeah, I've spoken to Lupita and Alicia Keys before. Um, who else? I feel like I've kind of spoken. I feel like the only ones I haven't spoken to is Whoopi and who else? Oh, I spoke to Taraji. I speak to her all the time. She's always checking on me, Taraji. But I feel like the only one I haven't really spoke to is Whoopi. She really just wore it to New York Fashion Week one day, and I was like, oh, period.
You're like, wow. All right. So I'll keep that in my mind because I'll have to like have you both on a Zoom or something where you guys can talk. Cause that's where I first saw it was from her. So I think that would be really cool for you guys to just like talk about,
Exactly.
your like experiences back and forth. I think that would be so much fun. But I'm so glad that the others have reached out to you because I think it's important too. And I think a lot of them know what they're wearing is important. Like, right. They're going to be photographed in it. People are going to talk about it. People are going to go, oh, where'd you get that shirt? I love that shirt. You're a celebrity. I want to wear it. Like, so, and there's meaning behind your clothing line. So for them to reach out to you and talk to you, I think shows that they're on the right page, like of what you're trying to do, which is nice. But
What
so you're basically like expanding at this point. It's still kind of family as of right now before you have your huge empire building. So what are your plans moving forward? Because are you going to be doing like beanies and jackets and like all sorts of stuff? Is that like the plan down the line? Or how are you like slowly kind of expanding and then getting the word out?
For what I feel like when it comes to expanding, doing different designs, I feel like we're always venturing out and seeing what people like. We dropped a Barbie themed collection one time. People loved it, but then I'm also starting to realize people love the simple Flexin In My Complexion or I Matter tees, representation matter tees, the Black Women Matter sweatshirts. I'm starting to realize they like the more homey stuff, not too dressy. They like the streetwear stuff for me. So, kind of learning what people like and what people are trying to buy and stuff like that. It's all about learning your brand. And just promoting it a lot, doing ads, going behind it. It's a lot. People think that having a company is so easy, but no, you have your ups and downs through the whole ride.
Yeah. If you're going to have words across or if you're going to have something, it should mean something. And so
Right.
that's why I think you did so well because all of your clothing line, a lot of it has meaning behind it because of the words that you put on it or the hashtags or the things that were trending. So I'm not surprised that that's doing well. I think it's a good mix for you right now, like in terms of what people want to wear.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I looked at all of your stuff and it was funny because I was like, yep, yeah, I'd wear that. I'm like, yep. I'm like,
You
I'd
better
buy
go
that.
make your order, girl. You better go make your order.
Yeah, like I mean, you have so much stuff, so I think it's just so amazing. But so that's good to know. Where can people go to get and look at all of your clothes and like your latest drops and stuff?
At flexininmycomplexion.com. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, at official Flexin In My Complexion, and then follow me at Kheris Poppin'. Period. But I feel like with the site, we're literally always sold out. Even
I
literally
know. You're always like literally like I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And then I went to go put it in my cart. It was like sold out. And I was like, darn it. And then like I went to go click on something else and I was like, oh my gosh, like she just released this. And it was like people they just hopped on it so fast.
exactly. I mean, it's amazing though, always seeing sold out on your website.
I mean,
it might not be for other people. For other people, they're like, dang, I wanted that. I mean, it's okay. It's coming back. It's gonna come back.
So I want to ask you, what makes you so driven? Because like you said, for business, you know, I'm a businesswoman. We have some rough days. It's hard enough being a woman. It's hard enough being a woman of color. It's hard enough being a woman that owns their business because it's just, you know, such a male dominated world. I mean, we're breaking through, but it's still a pretty male dominated world. And you'll sit in a room, and I'm sure you've experienced this, where it's like you and then like 20 guys. And I'm like, you don't know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, and I'm trying to explain like what I want to do and where I want to go. And you have to just be loud, but you can't be like too loud, right? Like there's just so many things that we're like judged as women. So for you, what do you do to make sure that you're at these meetings and you're getting your voice across in a way that is comfortable but authoritative? And what advice would you give? Because a lot of times you could be like the angry, you know, nasty woman. Like, you know, I've been called all sorts of stuff because I was aggressive because I wanted what I wanted, but I wasn't trying to be mean. It's just because I was a woman. Like if a man said that, you know, it wouldn't be a big deal. So for you, for someone being younger with all of this on your shoulders, how do you handle that? And what advice would you give somebody else in order to navigate through that?
One thing about me, I'm gonna get my point across. Everybody gonna hear me. It might not be today, but it's for sure gonna be tomorrow or that next day or that next day. I feel like for me being a kid, I feel like I'm also underestimated a lot. People look down on me, but then little do they know I'm making more money than half y'all in this room. So y'all go listen to me. My ideas matter. Me and my sister ideas matter. I feel like being a woman and being in any industry is very hard because they think that this is a male dominant industry or men are the one bringing in all the money. They're doing this, that, and third. Oh no, because we could do it 10 times better than you.
Okay? And it's usually, and I'm not going to lie, like, I'm sorry for all the guys listening, but we usually do it better. We're more rational. We're more put together. We usually do kind of put stuff together a little better.
Exactly. I just feel like using your voice, like we've been saying this whole conversation, using your voice, not to be afraid. Don't let any man push you over at all or anybody. Because at the end of the day, it's your company. You're the one that's behind this. You're the face of it. It's all going to fall back on you, not them. This is your company. You have to use your voice.
True. And you get to like, you know, I used to say, you know, I'd be in a meeting or something and someone would come up with an idea. And sometimes I would be like, all right, I need a day. Cause if I reacted the way I should react, not good. So I'm like, you know, not professional business, like give me a minute and then I'll come back in. But I used to like always say to people, but at the end of the day, like you can say what you want and I'm open. I'm always open. If there's a better idea, I'm open for it. But at the same time, you know, at the end of the day, it's my face, my name, right? Like all like your name's all attached to all of these things. So it's like, whose voice got you to this level? Yours. So who should we all be listening to? You. You know, it's like it sounds so simple, right? But people don't understand when you're in these meetings and you're making deals and you're trying to get sponsorships or whatever. It's not as simple and not as 1, 2, 3 as it should be. So, you know, it's pretty impressive that you've been able to kind of like navigate through that whole process, you know? So, do you have any advice for girls, in particular, women that have an idea and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. They're just kind of like, what should I do? What would be your advice in kind of like moving forward for them?
Do your research on the business that you're trying to get in. That's super important. Always doing your research. Even big time brands, they still do their research to this day, because, you know, it's important to learn about what you're getting yourself into. It's important to know about your company. It should be something you love. It shouldn't feel like a job all the time. This should feel like something fun. It's just a little hobby for you. It should be fun. Do something you love and just go for it. No one can stop you. No one. You have mentors all around you. You have people you could talk to, family, friends, anybody. There's social media. There's websites. People do classes where they give tips and all that jazz. So, you know, there's so many things that you can do to help you out, or just to learn a little bit more about coming into this entrepreneurship world. So just do your research and don't be afraid at all.
Well, you're like this shining star that's like moving so fast, you're like a comet. So I'm assuming there's more stuff coming your way. I know that you're traveling soon. I don't know what you can say or not say, so I'm not going to say what you're traveling for. But whatever you can say, what's coming up? What's next for you? I feel like it's like a dynasty behind you, because it's like, yeah, what's next for you after a clothing line that you're working on, and after a book that's doing really well, and celebrities that are reaching out to you. But listen, you could always next level. So what's the next thing that you're doing, and where people can kind of like follow you on your next adventure?
Oh, I feel like this year, I've pretty much done a lot of stuff over the past few years. I've ventured into doing TV shows and all that jazz. So hopefully this year we'll get to see something. But also modeling, I'm signed to LA Models. And I feel like that's something a lot of people see me as a model. They're always like, oh my God, are you a model? And then also like my Instagram pictures, everyone's just like, she's giving face, okay? And so I feel like those two are what I'm really looking forward to in the new year. And a lot of traveling as well. We're going to Dominican next week with Nickelodeon. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Are you doing something for them there, or?
It's a brand deal. So yeah, we're going to Dominican for free, period.
See, this is
but still to work.
what we need to discuss. I need advice from you, because I ain't getting these deals. Like, I get other deals, but I'm not getting deals for a free trip. So we need to have like an off-camera conversation to hook me up on the. I don't know how you're doing it, but that's awesome. So they like hooked you up with some trip.
And then also next month in February, I have a foundation called the Kheris Rogers Foundation. We're holding our second event. It's a teen summit. We're going to have celebrity guests. We're looking at 200 kids showing up this time. Our first event, we had over 1,000 people. It was a back to school drive. And so we're going to be speaking on depression, anxiety, mental health, entrepreneurship, social media, all that jazz, just touching on all the important topics as a teenager. And that's something I'm super excited for. It's going to be on February 11th.
So you have like speakers and people coming, and so it's going to be like a whole kind of like summit where everybody can kind of come together and learn and just like have fun.
Especially get advice from our favorite people, people that they see on social media, advice for me, period. So yeah, I'm super, super excited for it. My foundation is something where I could show other young teens that, you know, if I did it at this young age, you can do it too. I'm just super excited. I can't wait for the day to come. So
no, that sounds amazing. And what is for the foundation? Do you guys raise money that goes somewhere, or is the foundation just getting put back in to offer more like kind of free events or things for people?
I feel like for now it's just to offer a lot of free events for people. We actually got a grant from the Shamindri Foundation recently. And so, yeah, I feel like for me, it's being in a position now where I feel like I can help people, where I've been in situations growing up where I wasn't always fortunate enough to get school supplies or hear people talk about the things that I want to do growing up. And so I just feel like doing something like this and showing teens or children or even adults or your parents whoever coming, just showing them, you know, that there's so many ways in this world to make money. There's so many people that are going through mental health issues at a young age. And I just feel like these topics are super important, and I just want to touch on them right now. Yeah,
no, that's amazing. So where can people sign up if they want to come attend?
You guys have to keep on the lookout on my social media. I'll be dropping the website pretty soon. hopefully like in the next week or two, which I'm super, super excited for. I can't wait for everyone to show up and hear all these amazing conversations.
That's so exciting. We're doing a teen summit February 11th in LA and virtually. So if people can't go to LA, they can stream it, I guess, and like join in on some of the conversations. And then it's going to be hosted at Loyola Marymount.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, good. So no, that's super exciting. Like I said, you have so many things going on. You're about to go on a trip. You have this book, you have this clothing line, you have so many things going on. For 2023, what I know that there's expansion coming up. There's like a lot of things like floating in your mind. Is there any one thing that you're like, I want to accomplish this over the next 12 months? Is there a goal? It could be like a personal goal or it could be like a business goal. Is there something that you plan on doing and your goal is to get it done this year?
To be a millionaire by the end of this year.
I love that answer.
Literally, just to be a millionaire at the end of this year. I feel like been doing this for so long, and I just think having a bunch of zeros in my account will make life so much easier.
Wouldn't it? No, I love that answer because it's an honest answer and it's true. Like, who would turn that down?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'd be happy getting that.
I feel like that comes with having monthly goals for yourself, especially with having a company. I feel like that also comes with expanding a lot. So yeah, I feel like that's my goal for this year.
Period. Just expansion upwards and outwards, right? So
exactly.
That's
yeah.
Well, you are amazing. You're an amazing person to meet and talk to. And I love your energy. I love your personality. You're like cracking me up. I love everything about you. I love what you stand for. I love all the stuff that you've done. And I appreciate you taking time out because I know like you have a million things going on and you got family in the background, you got stuff happening, like, you know, you have tons of stuff. So I appreciate you taking time out to talk with me about it, to help kind of even bring more awareness to it. And so that we could bring more people kind of your way and let people know, like, look at this girl, like, look at what she's accomplishing as she becomes a woman, like, and, you know, and you're doing all of these things. And it gives hope to so many people that it's possible, that they're home and they have this idea and they can make it happen because you did. So right. I just want to thank you so much for coming on. And you're so awesome. So we have to hang out.
Yes, definitely. And I hope to see you at the Teen Summit. Thank you so much for having me. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Kheris Rogers talk about her new book, Shine Bright, and also her clothing line, Flexin In My Complexion. She also clearly has a lot of plans coming up, so make sure you go check her out on social media, check out her websites, and follow her for the latest updates on what she's doing. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're updated on all of our latest podcasts, and head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe so you're updated on all of our video content.